Yeah, I was about to say, you look like you're squinting at me. Like, is that really oh, we live? Okay. Hel hello, and welcome to Waking Up. I I am Pepip, aka Sean, and with me is fantastic yet, uh my fantastic co-host. Nothing, nothing, absolutely nothing. Roogs, aka Anna. So thank you for being here on this hot and stormy and humid Sunday, depending on where you live. Actually, I think most places people live, that's what it is. Oh, okay. Oh god, that is such a painful thing. I anyone doesn't know I wear contacts also, and sometimes they just decide they want to float wherever they want to go and back in the eyeball, and it just becomes incredibly painful. So I totally get what Arugs is dealing with. So anyway, good morning, Calvino. How's it going? Everyone else that has joined us, glad you made it to waking up. So I will go ahead and get the disclaimer out of the way. We are not licensed therapists, psychotherapists, counselors. We are not certified in any of that. We are certifiable, but not certified. Um, we are just two trauma Triscuits, two trauma Ritz crackers, um, trying to make it in this world, trying to be good people, better than we were each day, learning more on our journey. Um, we are just talking about nothing that we say. Do not take anything that we say as coming from a therapist or as gospel. This is we are just talking about our experiences, things that we grew up with. We both grew up in the Bible Belt, the buckle of the Bible Belt. It is we grew up a couple hours away from Billy Graham country. So if you know anything about that, you totally understand probably where we're coming from. It is deep in the Bible Belt, and we grew up experiencing all the wonderful religious trauma. Didn't know it at the time, but we do know. We definitely know that now. So we grew up believing all kinds of interesting things about ourselves and about other people, and we have spent the last several years last many years, me several years, Rude's longer than that, deconstructing all of this trauma that we have been dealing with for so much of our lives. And whether we've been deconstructing for just a short time or a long time, there continues to be things that pop up, things that we do that we go, oh yeah, that comes back to this thing that I experienced, this thing that I did. So our goal is to talk about our journey with you guys, hopefully, and hear about your journey, also. So feel free to let us know if we say anything that resonates with you. Feel free to let us know in the chat, and tell us about what you've experienced and how that relates. But our goal is just to help you guys out, help ourselves out, and help you. You asked But this you asked me to do the intro. You didn't say, "Hey, repeat my intro." So I was just doing trying to be were you trying to be relatable, but you're just not? So are we gonna put are we gonna put a pin in it? We're gonna circle back. Okay, yeah. So right now we're gonna go for the low hanging fruit. I can keep going. Oh, ouch. That's true. They were there. That is true. Mhm. Mhm. But not for that way. You need to turn it. I didn't know I needed a wide mouse pad until I got a wide mouse pad. I'm like, I don't think I'd go back. Oh? Uh, oh, yeah, nice. You see Whoa! That was unexpected. Uh-huh. That was funny. What? Uh-oh.
Oh, I forgot to
Maybe
unmute
this
me. It's fine. See,
Oh.
this is what
Ah!
happens when I let Pep start.
How did letting me start mess up your audio?
Shh, I am not awake enough, caffeinated enough, or medicated enough right now for you to come at me.
It's because I distracted you, that's the answer. I distracted you with my awkwardness, and so you forgot to unmute yourself. There you go.
Is that a defense mechanism? Like you know?
No, I was giving you the answer.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me now?
Uh, yay. Audio check.
You know what?
Testing
Let's make
one, two,
this
three.
entrance just as awkward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
La,
gracious.
la, la, la.
All right. Well,
Wait, Calvino just I just realized Calvino didn't call you a Roogs. I didn't. It's so unusual a lot of times for people to are, to not do that.
it took me many years to actually like my name.
I think you have a nice name.
I know. I have a nice name. It's simple. If people can't get it, I'm like,
Right?
nowadays with like how everybody's named their kids or whatever, it's like,
And it's a palindrome. So
I know. That's fun.
Mhm.
I
didn't
only
like
have
many-
one contact in, so like everything, my depth perception is now off.
Oh my God! Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I didn't want to wear glasses on stream.
Oh, okay. You know
I
what?
bounce between the
get
two.
that. I don't.
I
don't either.
like my name.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, you did last night. Okay. All right. It's so.
Do you have a problem with my name, Pep Pep? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely
That is
not.
exactly what you're saying. That's
No.
exactly what it sounds like you're saying. Is that you have a problem with my name?
No. No, I like your name.
What's in a name?
What's in a name? Oh wait, that's a different. that's what's in the box. What's in a name?
Of all of the
Shakespeare, I
things,
know,
of
a
all
name.
of the things that you
I
picked,
know, I went-
you tried to go, I can't with
I tried to
you.
go
What the-
7.
I tried to, it doesn't even go
Rose
together.
by any other name. Oh my god.
And you also see, Annas are fucking awesome. That's what I just because we're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes,
we're awesome.
absolutely.
I think I am leaning more towards being called Anna than I am Orugs.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
reasons.
Sure.
Um,
It's your name. Names are important.
just like yeah.
Called whatever you want to be called. Mm-hmm.
So for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
For reasons. Yeah.
For reasons, absolutely. You know, I was thinking about this though. My nickname is there for the same reasons.
Ooh. Yeah. However, yours is sort of earned.
Yes.
Yours is earned.
By my-
Mine is
by my
not.
driving?
Mine is because somebody had
That's
the
true.
inability to actually. I
To
don't
come
know.
Yeah, that you're right. That is true.
Mine was not earned. Yours was totally earned, and yours was earned years later. And we don't like people like specifically call me a Roogs, but they don't specifically like they alternate way more for you than they do for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Mine also came much later.
Anagram. I actually, we're gonna date myself. I actually had a online blog back in like 2008, 2009, and I called it the Analogs. And I sort of wanted to bring that back. I thought that was clever considering, but I mean, you think it's like the Analogs. I thought that was clever. Instead of in the middle, I can call it the Analogs.
Yeah, you could totally
instead of the random ramblings of Arug. So yep, Analogs. Yeah. It was exactly like the Analogs. That's not logs as in LOG, like logs as in like, digital and analog.
LGUE.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there.
Oh.
Well, I have two. I'm very specific because I have two N's in my name. I have to be very specific about that, especially here in Texas. I have two N's because they will spell it with one often, which is a perfectly beautiful way of spelling it. And it's a very based in very Latin American culture. Anna is that, but I have two N's. It's Anna.
It's not yours.
It's not mine.
Your name is your name. Mm-hmm.
So I've been talking about something with my therapist.
Okay.
I figure I just bring that shit. And yeah, I'm keeping the pride one up, at least for now, because it's more colorful than our other one. I gotta get a new background. But so I was talking with my therapist, and I was really upset this past Wednesday. Yeah, pride. I know, right? Except I think for ours it should be purple, purple, like blue, purple, pink, like very, very bi. I'm like, but I was talking with her and how frustrated I was about some certain situations that were coming up. And I was really angry with myself. And I'm struggling. I struggle a lot. This comes up there are two things that come up very consistently in my therapy. And that is, one, I'm allowed to take up space. I'm allowed to be myself. I'm allowed to be in the spotlight. I'm allowed to take up space and be noticed. And I'm allowed to, because I spent a lot of time and a lot of energy being told, one, that I was always a background character, two, that that I was only as good as what I provided. And when I provided it, I needed to make sure that I diminished everything that I was so that somebody else could take credit for that, or that somebody else could feel better about themselves. Or it's that whole part of that people pleasing thing. Like, if I was better than somebody, I was made to feel bad about it. So don't be better than anyone else. And if I was better than somebody else, or really good at something, that it had to be in conjunction with pushing somebody else forward, to improving somebody else's life, to improving somebody else's career, whatever, et cetera, and so forth. So my talents and who I was only supposed to be in benefit to other people. I was not allowed to take up my own space. I had to share and push somebody else's. That's one. And two is not being angry at myself and my past self, and being kind to myself, and giving and treating myself and understanding with some grace and some compassion and some forgiveness, and how often I don't do that, and how often I get angry at myself, and I get angry at myself for past decisions, or habits, or coping mechanisms, or whatever. And that all came to a nice little perfect storm on Wednesday. Actually, Monday through Wednesday, it was this nice little perfect storm where I was just like, ugh. It was bad. And I literally asked my therapist, I was like, when is violence the answer? Like, when is that an answer? When have you exhausted everything that violence is the answer? She's like, never. I'm like, hooker. um, so
Give me
yeah,
a second opinion.
yeah. Excuse me. I pay you to tell me what I want to hear, not what I need to hear.
Exactly. That's how
Actually,
this world works.
yeah, like in this how this therapy works is I need you to make me feel better, not tell me the
Yes.
truth.
Right?
We know some people
Mhm.
who goes to therapy and all they want to hear is the.
Yes, that's yeah. Continue.
I'm just saying, some people only go to therapy to feel better about themselves and not actually heal.
I have had sessions like that though. I admit that. I will admit that. I have had sessions where like I kind of feel like I want that as opposed to like um I need some validation. Like there occasionally there I have a session where I feel like I need validation. Like especially
I know
if I'm
those
feeling
people.
like I'm not
We all
really
know those people.
yeah. So anyway, but I don't go to therapy to make feel better myself, but I do have occasional sessions where I'm like I kind of want some validation.
Well, and that's the great thing about my therapist is she's really great about she'll tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear, but she will then follow that up with going, "Hey, I don't want to invalidate what you're feeling because what you're feeling is valid." Like, and she will validate my feelings, but she'll also follow up with, "Yes, what you're feeling is valid, but I want you to look at a different perspective." Before, like, and especially when with like my BPD and stuff. So she's got to be really like, because she's got to play that nice little tightrope of my trauma and because she'll know that my emotions, though my emotions are valid, sometimes not based in truth or reality. So it's a hard balance, especially when like I don't know if anybody knows this, but like a lot of therapists actually are discriminatory against people with bipolar disorder or BPD because it's so hostile, because unless they have really, because it's so volatile. Like one day they are raging about life, the extremes, and it's really difficult. It is really difficult. And like there are a lot of people who are like, I'm on my third therapist. Like, so it's difficult. And so having somebody who is patient and willing to work with people like that, it's like you try to really stick with them. Like no. I have my water.
She's trying.
She's trying so hard. She's like, "Excuse me, your cup is in my place." I'm gonna sit right here. And she's gonna, ma'am. But I was really upset because it was one of those. Here's what I was angry about, and I don't know if anybody will relate, but here's what I was going through, and I was angry, and I wasn't just angry at somebody else. I was angry at somebody else. I was just livid, and I was like angry, crying. I was so angry, and I don't know, because it's Mouse, Calvino. It's Mouse. Have you met her? You've met her. This is what she does. Is I was angry because it was one of those. What do I do? I was angry at myself because I didn't know what to do, because I'm over here and I'm trying not to be a people pleaser. I'm trying not to, I'm setting boundaries and not letting people get away with some things that, that they used to get away with, et cetera, and so forth. But at the same time, I'm over here and I was like, but I want to take the high road. Like, what should bother me and what shouldn't bother me? Like, and how do I navigate that? That was very frustrating because it's like I don't know how to navigate that. And then two, how did I let these people use me for so long in the first place? Like, how did I not see these people? How was I gaslighting myself? And I was very much, that's where I being angry at myself. So it was like I was angry at the other person because of what they were doing, but at the same time I was also angry at myself for allowing it to happen for so long. That is just what they feel like is acceptable. Like they feel like, oh, it's fine. And it's like, okay, so I'm trying to do the healthy thing, but the healthy thing's not working because obviously they're repeating the behavior what do I do? It's very frustrating. It's like, what do I do? Like, because, and I was angry at myself. It's like, how did I not see? How did I allow that to happen for so long? And I think I said this on my 4th of July stream, but it's like, that was normal. That was normal. So I didn't know that that was something that I needed to defend against or set boundaries against, or I needed to do any of those things. That was normal. So it didn't dawn on me to defend myself or to stand up for myself. So she's like, so again, give yourself a little grace. You know now. What are you going to do now? And I'm like, and that's when I said, when is violence the answer? She laughed at me. She goes, never. She goes, we can think about those things and then we're going to journal about it and let that go. I'm like,
that's so hard though. Giving because I feel everything you're talking about how you feel about. I have the same thing that comes up in my therapy all the time. We'll talk about something from my past and my face will get all scrunched up and he'd be like, what's that?
My favorite is when your therapist, you've been with them long enough that they know you and they're like, so what are you feeling? What's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening right here? What are you experiencing? What are you experiencing right now? Where did you go? Listen, Hooker, I don't need no.
I don't need you knowing me that well. Knowing all my facial expressions and my tics. But yeah, I have the same problem. All this stuff that I allowed to happen in my life that I experienced. I think back, and it's hard not to look back at it and get angry with your younger self for allowing it, because you are a product of what you've been through. And so it's like, and I can sit there and say, I know I have to remind myself a lot of, I didn't know any better. Because I can say, well, I didn't know any better. But just saying that doesn't alleviate that frustration and anger. I have to remind myself constantly that younger self, like you said, was normal. That behavior, and what I thought was normal was that behavior. And so I always sought after that behavior.
Right.
So because it felt normal, and I didn't know any better. Okay. So for me, it's definitely a lot of repetition.
Sorry, it was bothering me.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, is like, okay, now what? Now that I recognize those things in the people and I recognize those behaviors in people, what do I do with that? What do I do with that? And that was the big question that I still haven't figured out yet. Like, what do I do with that knowledge? What do I do? Because I tried doing one thing and that's not working, apparently. And it's like one of those, she brought up to me, she goes, what can you do? Because you can't change other people. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah. But at the same time, I can't allow this. I can make it very clear. Like, and it's this is that whole part of healing where I know healthy, but I don't know how to, where I have the tools and I know I need the tools, but how do I apply that? Like I have a Dremel and I know all the wonderful things that the Dremel could do. I have no fucking clue what to do with it.
But it's a whole thing. It's a whole different thing from knowing it and knowing all the, and actually doing.
I know. I'm like, I have it.
Very.
It's a useful tool. Yes.
It's good.
It's great. It's like I have the whole thing
of stuff that I could do.
Right. All the things that they're telling me, wonderful things I could do with this tool. Okay.
And yeah.
And you know what's the worst is you're trying all these things and you're doing all these other things. And when somebody of your friends like will go up and go, why didn't you use that? That would have been so much better and easier. And you're like, why didn't anybody tell me? And again, it's one of the things you have to teach yourself. You have to not teach yourself, but with guidance. And like, you're just like, what do I do with this? And so that's where I am at right now. It's, what do I do with it? I know I need to set boundaries. I know I have the right to stand up for myself. I know what I want to do. I know that what's healthy and what's not healthy. But so it's
Mhm.
I'm sitting here going, okay, well, I'm sitting in this people pleasing mindset and I'm trying to heal out of it. But it's like, what's the difference between taking the high road and rolling over and letting somebody roll over you?
Mm. It's always distinguishing between those things that is so difficult.
Me, I'm that friend.
Yeah.
I know. Bonnie's like,
Um,
here. What tool do you need? What
yeah.
you like here? Anything tool related? I have like at least 3 friends I can call up and go, what do I do? Do you have this, and this? I have one of
Yes.
those. Okay, you're gonna do this. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
hmm You've got friends who know how to use those tools.
I know.
hmm
But that's the big thing is how do I know what's the difference between rolling over and letting somebody continue to. So we're about to have a tropical storm in Houston area.
That's what that was?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
thunder.
God.
So
Wow.
yeah, I might
If we
have
suddenly
to.
go offline.
Well, I might have to peace out early because I do need to go back to my office and grab my laptop because they're letting us work from home tomorrow. So we might be cutting this a little short. But
Right.
they're changing the timelines of this, and the trajectory of this storm has changed so drastically in the past 72 hours. So
Mhm.
it was supposed to come in this morning. It didn't come in this morning. It was supposed to hit way into Mexico. Now it's hitting up way north. So
Yep.
and we're getting the
Wow.
dirty side, which is way Harvey hit us. So, I mean, it's a tropical storm, so it's not nearly as bad. So, I'm like, all of the Houston people who were here during Harvey were like,
Yeah.
we're like, meh. So
Don't go to Galveston.
no, it's already hit. It's already hit Galveston. It's already hit that
Okay.
area. So I'm just like, it's rain. Whatever.
Yeah.
Hides under bed. Don't I love thunder?
I
But-
do.
So
yeah.
we're gonna get to back to that. So we're. Oh, the topic is the literal storm. Well, sort of, because here's the thing, Nerdy Will, is I was angry. And for those of you who don't know, my nickname in college was the Filipino Thunder. Thanks to BPD and all of these things now that I know, it's like I would lose my temper very easly and I wouldn't do anything physical, but I would get very loud. I was a yeller. like I was the Filipino Thunder. You could hear me from miles away. Like that was. So this is how angry I was. I was livid. And it's like, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do because I don't want somebody to take advantage, and they're doing a lot of bad stuff, and I really just want to just lay waste and go scorched earth. But at the same time, I'm like, is that healthy? Is that sounding a boundary? What do I do? I don't know. Like, am I taking the high road, or am I just trying to, are they seeing that as allowing that behavior to continue?
hmm
That's where I'm stuck.
I think sometimes you have to distinguish between things that are done to you directly and things that are done. Because somebody can do it indirectly and like, okay, so but that almost feels like baiting.
Mm-hmm.
They're baiting you. So that, to me, that's where the high road comes in. Like they're not doing it directly to you. So you're not so much allowing the behavior because it's not coming directly at you. You're not allowing it because it's going somewhere else. It just it does have to do with you. And I think responding to that is taking the bait. They want you, and then it becomes a whole different thing.
It does.
Whereas if it's something directed towards you, that is behavior that you choose to accept or put a boundary.
But that's it. That's also the question. When it is blatantly obvious that it is targeted at you, but it is not directly to you. And that's the part where I am stuck.
It's so freaking hard.
Right.
Because you feel the emotions as if it's directed to you, because you feel like
you know, they're like, no, it's not. It's that plausible deniability.
It is, but it's bait. that's what I really strongly feel, that it's bait to get you. It's that drop in the water, and they're like, just, yeah, come on, take it, bite, so I can take it at you. Because they won't take it at you because they know it's different. But as soon as you bite, it's not them coming after you, it's you coming after them. So
okay, Pep, I don't need you to be smart today. I don't need you to be smart and talking all that sense and logic today. I don't need you to be smarter than me today.
Oh, no,
it's a joke. Happen. Oh my God, I hate that one.
Oh, yeah, that's dirty. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's the difference between the two. And the emotions aren't really any different, because even if they're not directing it to you, they might as well, because it feels the same, because you know that you're the point of it, you're the center of it. So it's hard to in that moment, because it's easy to be triggered in that moment when it happens. So it's really hard to be triggered and then not to take the bait.
We don't do that around.
No. Nope.
No, we just we put our jokes directly out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
we stand by our digs.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh my God, my oldest child came out in her Stitch onesie.
I'm preparing for a storm. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I know. I was super angry, and I was like, because it was very obvious. It is very obvious, and I was just, I didn't know what to, and I still have mixed feelings about it. I was so like, I was yelling. I was like angry tears. I was so angry and hurt, and my therapist was like, I was like, they're doing it again. I think that was the other thing, because it triggered me. It's like, they're doing it again. Like,
that hurt from previous times.
They're using me again. Even indirectly, they are still using me. They are still incapable of doing things on their own, so they are using me again. And I had that feeling again, and it was and I can't, again, it's very difficult for me to decipher between what's a trigger and what's a real emotion. I mean, it is all a real emotion. I have to accept that. But what is that emotion based out of, a thing or a trigger? And my therapist was also, it's both. It's both. And I was like,
yeah.
Again,
it can be both.
She's like, it can be both. And I'm just like, that's, she goes, because it did happen just now. But it happening right now, and your feelings are justified, and it also triggered you. Like,
because of your trauma, because of the past experiences.
Bah!
Yeah.
So it was. And as much as I don't like, and this is me sitting in my healing and discomfort. I can accept and understand that if I tried to do anything, if I did try to address the thing in the person, it would, you're right, it would be baiting. It would be giving in. And it would also be me trying to people please and emotionally manipulate somebody, because I cannot change other people's thoughts, feelings, or actions. So people are going to do what they're going to do. I can't change other people as much as I want to.
And it can make you come off looking bad, because, like you said, it's the plausible deniability of it. You know that it was directed at, intended to you, but there's enough deniability that the person can say, whoa, where's this coming from? I don't know what you're talking about. And they can easily skirt around that. So then you look like you're the one that's going on the offense.
Right. Blue LA says, but it's also standing up for you. And that's the rub. That is where I was at. But I want to stand up for myself. I want to make it clear. I want to make it clear that this is what is happening, because I spent a majority of my life in that, and in case you don't know, for those who have set what narcissistic reactive abuse looks like, what reactive abuse looks like, which I have dealt with most of my life, is the person will what's called dog whistle. They'll say phrases or words that they know emotionally triggers you. They will push you to the point where you will then have a reaction. You'll get angry, you'll get upset, you'll start screaming, yelling, crying, whatever. And then they will flip a switch and like either record you or point it out to other people and go, see, look, and just be very calm. I don't know why you're like this. I don't know why you're doing this. And it was all because they were goading you and baiting you.
Yep.
To get to that emotional point, because you are so abused and you react to their abuse. And once that you react to their abuse, they then turn it around on you and use it as a weapon against you, even though they are the cause of this reaction. So I spent most of my life, and that's where a lot of, actually, I used to say this phrase a lot, and I don't say it hardly any anymore, which I'm very grateful for. And I used to say, whenever I'd get emotional or upset, I would go, I am not crazy. I am not crazy, because that was the phrase that a lot of my abusers would say. Look, she's just crazy. Look, she's just crazy. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I would say, I'm not crazy. I am not crazy. I am having this emotional reaction, but I'm not crazy. I would say that over and over and over and over and over again. Just trying, because nobody would believe me. No one would believe me that I wasn't this crazy emotional person. I was just I was a reactive person and reacting to a situation that I was in. So it's
combine that with BPD, that makes for some very intense. Yeah. That's wow.
Talk about being emotionally confused all the motherfucking time, which is why I'm confused now a little bit. Yeah. It's decades of being like that. Like, it's not going to get better overnight. So I'm sitting here. I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So, because I want people to know what's going on. I want to stand up for myself. That desire to defend myself. I'll show you crazy, girl. You're my bestie. You know I can show crazy. Actually, my therapist said this on Wednesday. She goes, I was like, oh, she goes, would it make you feel better if you were crazy? I was like, listen, I don't need you. I don't need.
Mine does the same thing. Okay, so what people believe that?
Would it make you feel better? Would things be better if you were actually working?
What if that did happen? Would it? Yeah. Yeah.
I literally stopped and went, maybe? Because I did it. She goes, really? Go.
Yeah. But when you have those reactions, you tell the people that you are close to, the people that you feel safe with. And so it's not just you taking it and rolling over. You talk about it. You know, like, this is how it affected you, regardless of what the intention was from the other person. That affected you and affected you a certain way. You felt strongly about it, so it's important for you to talk about it, and you're allowed to feel what you felt, and you're allowed to respond. It's just a matter of figuring out which direction you go. And with that, I like, one thing I like about that you do often is your response is to be better. Instead of attacking them directly, you're like, I'm just gonna be better. I'm just gonna do what I do. And that, because I think that speaks so much more volumes. And even though it's not what you want to do, I think it speaks volumes greater than anything else than going on the offensive.
It's just so hard. I'm telling you, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, because that's hard. because I want nothing but because we have all seen how when I get angry and frustrated, how easily I can cut somebody I can cut the knees out from under them, like easily.
Those are the tools that you have that you know how to use. The hard part there is not knowing, it's not doing, not using the tool.
This saw is very, very dangerous, and you use it only when necessary. You don't need to use an entire table saw to cut open a box. It's not. It's
fun.
Yeah. And so that's what I've been, because I want to defend myself. I want to, and not only that, I think there's a sense of justice, which I wonder where my youngest daughter got that from. Like this sense of that's not fair. That's this sense of injustice, the sense of something being done, and to defend myself and my own so fiercely, and my work, just a lot, because a lot of my adult trauma has been based around my work and my talents and my I have been used in that aspect. So a lot of my trauma in my younger years was different, but a lot of my that's where I'm allowed to take up space, and I'm allowed to be in the spotlight. I'm allowed to be better than people. I'm allowed to be proud of myself. I'm allowed to be proud of my accomplishments and the things that I've done at the same time. And I'm allowed to say I'm really good at this and still want to grow and be better just because I'm good at it. And it's very difficult for me to go, I need to remove limbs with a butcher. Right. And I think that it's distinguishing between what tools you need. And that's the hard part. As I'm at the place where I know I have the tools that I need to accomplish the job. I know what tools I want to use. But I know that those aren't necessarily going to accomplish the job that I want. And like you said, going to cause more damage. Right?
Yeah.
And it's very difficult because...
But there's a satisfaction
of being vindictive and vengeful.
It's gonna feel so good. You know it's gonna feel good, and it's hard to deny yourself that moment.
But will it feel good? Yes.
For a moment, it will.
But see, here's the thing. I was arguing with Nervous at this too. I was like, yes, it will. She goes, but will that benefit you in the end? I'm like,
okay, so that.
I'm saying that I am trying to get over feeling guilty about setting boundaries and putting people in their place. And I'm trying not to feel bad about, standing up for myself. I feel like this is excellent practice. Is it? Like she goes, not what I meant. And I went like, but not untrue. And she goes, no. And I was like, and now I know why my parents are frustrated. I know. I was looking for the loophole. I was like, now I know why my parents are very frustrated. Don't leave a loophole and there won't be a loophole. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but see, you're smart enough that you will find the loophole. If it exists at all, you will find it.
Not only will I find it, I will be able to defend the loophole and
exploit it. Yes,
and exploit it.
Yeah, and then make them feel bad about leaving the loophole. See, if you had just done this, I couldn't have.
And then go, what did you learn? You need to learn how to cover every single, dot your I's and cross your T's. I'm just saying. I mean, there is a deep, and I'm gonna be real honest. There's a deep part of me that just wants to go on the offensive. Because sometimes when you feel combative and there's a part of your life, though you have accepted that is a part of your life, there is a part in your healing part. That's why grief is like, the anger is in that grief part. anger is in part that stages of grief, and like it's been proven that grief is different for everyone, but the main stage, like you're gonna feel angry.
Mm-hmm.
And there's sometimes you just want to go on the offensive. You want to start a fight. You want to. Like, you just are like, no, like, I'm gonna end. we're just gonna discuss my therapy session. It's fine. Where you want to be angry and you want to go through all of that. She goes, but in the long run, is that something sustainable? And I'm like, I mean,
yeah,
depending on how well you prepare for battle, it's over in minutes. I'm just saying.
But is it over in minutes? I guess it depends on what kind of, whether you whether you salt the earth or not.
Right.
Yeah. But you feel the anger as part of that, but acting on the anger, is it there?
Hold on one second. I'm responding. Okay. I need to respond to a text, so can keep going.
Sure. Okay. So the thought that I'm having is that, so the anger that you feel in that grief, in those stages, acting on that anger, is that the way that you avoid feeling the going through the stages by acting out on that? Because we talk about before, anger's always kind of like the emotion that's easy to deal with. Anger is often the secondary emotion, and it's something that you use to mask other stuff. So when you get to that stage of anger, if you act out on it, what is the goal there? What's the purpose? Is it to avoid feeling all the other feelings that you're supposed to? Because if you avoid it, you're going to feel the other feelings eventually.
Oh, yeah.
You're just kind of holding off on it.
Right.
As opposed to feeling it, moving on, and getting through it, you're just stretching out the grief, the period of time that you're going to feel that grief. But in that moment, it's easy to sit here when you're not feeling triggered and you're not feeling
exactly when you're not feeling it. It's like, but it's difficult. It's still very difficult. It's still something. This is a situation where I have spent almost an entire week emotional layaway.
That's actually a really good analogy.
It's just like I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, because I can't. You also have to weigh the facts of, like, I can't predict the future. And I can only deal with right now, because what's going to happen in the future, because it is what it is. And what do I want to do right now in the present?
Yeah.
Because if I get into the mindset of that chess match and that strategy of, okay, if I do this and they respond this way or this way, I could do this. And then I am also re-traumatizing myself and retraining myself into a mindset that I am trying to heal myself out of, because that's emotional manipulation. And I am trying to, though I am incredibly good at it, I am trying to not use that skill. That's a tool that I don't need to use just because I can. And that needs to be used when it is a major situation. And this is not a major situation.
Yeah. What is your goal if you engage in the battle, in the war? What is your goal?
Right.
Does engaging in the war further your goal? Right. Further you in your values? And yeah, in this case,
I think I have to think about it. If we're talking like military strategy and like war and like all of this stuff, I think that there comes to be a point to where you can either be that person who's going to just attack without seeing, just be that combative, let's just think of it in countries, like that combative country that is just going to attack and attack and attack with no reason, just self goals. self goals. We're just going to, that imperial, just take over everything wherever, just because we want to, just because that's who we are. Or you could be the passive person that's just going to be like, we're just going to fortify our defenses, bunker down, and just hope that they go away. Like when you ring the doorbell, like, no one's home. Thank you. Like, that stuff. Or you can be the person who, or in that country that no one wants to fuck with. But there's always that one person, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to attack. I'm just going to sit here, knowing what you're sitting on, knowing you're sitting on the best defenses, and that you can hunker down if you need to until the siege is over, and all this, knowing that you can survive, and being the person is, or being that type of, it's just like, I know I could rip you up in 5 minutes, but you're not worth the fight. But the moment you fuck up that one time, all right. So you're not ever like going out. It's like America in World War II. America's like, I'm staying out of it. I'm staying out of it. I'm staying out of it. Yeah. Oh, fucking really?
Well,
okay. And 2 years later, and you're done. And here we are. It's like, okay, now you done fucked up. You done fucked up, Aaron. You done fucked up, Aaron. Yeah. Like, that type. Like, and I think that that's sort of where I'm trying to be, because I've done both. I'm just going to attack and just do all the things, and then I've done the whole, just try to defend. I'm just going to stay here in my nice little fortified castle and hope y'all go away. And then now it's just like, I know I could fuck you up, but I just don't. It's just like, okay, all right,
Is this enough to warrant your stepping into the fight, stepping in and
right,
responding that way,
right? And currently,
and right now it's not.
Right, it's not. Right? And currently, it's just they're on the border fucking around. They haven't done anything directly. They're just fucking around the border.
They're just talking. They're just making a lot of noise.
So I'm over here going, I see you. I see what you're doing. You haven't necessarily crossed the border yet. But I'm gonna sit here and I'm just gonna keep doing my thing over here. But I'm also going to be I see you.
Yeah.
Just one toe over that line. Just what? Give me a reason. Just one. Yeah. Give me that reason. I'm not going to do anything. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Saber rattling on the border. Yeah. Yep. That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah. And
that's it. Blue Ellie, like you're sitting there just like using that symbolism. You're sitting there and you're just sitting on your chair, just shining your sword. You're just like sharpening it, going, what you got?
Go ahead.
I mean, you do you. I'm gonna let you do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. If that makes you let them. If that makes you feel better, you're like, okay. But there's a point. There could be a point where that changes.
Yeah.
And it's they're no longer just saber rattling. And then I think there's a point where it's justified, where you have to respond accordingly.
Does somebody call for a shitload to find out?
Yeah, I think so.
But I think it's acknowledging. I think and I'm tying this, bring it on. Don't forget to bring, I got it. Right. And I think, and tying this all together into mental health is that in you, me as a person, all of these strategies, you have to evolve. And sometimes some strategies work for certain situations and some don't. And that's, I think, being like, well, this tool always has worked. And I think and you're not always going to know exactly the right tool for the right time. And here's the other thing that I am learning is sometimes the unexpected tool is the tool that you absolutely need.
Oh, really?
Like this random thing, you have this tool. And you're like, oh, well, I normally use it for this, and this is its normal function. But I'm going to think outside the box. And I'm just going to try this one anyway. But it's thinking outside of the box, and it's getting to that point of healing, going where you're having to look at the situation as a whole
Mm-hmm.
and who you are as a whole.
Yeah.
And I had to look through my triggers and my hurts and my pain, and that's hard.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Still the funniest conversation we've ever had as Team AOA, I think.
Yes.
But poor Sean had no idea. He's like, what?
What? Wait, what? What's happening? Our conversations. Yeah.
What about you, Sean?
It's difficult. I see so much as an attack that it is really hard not to respond. That's a very tough one for me because because I feel attacked so easily. And my response is to, I'm right, you're wrong, you're attacking, I'm gonna attack back. I'm gonna respond. And so not doing that, it's difficult for me not to see everyone else as attacking, whether or not for you it's like, okay, they are attacking, it's just like, what does that look like? For me it's like, are they really attacking, or are they just voicing their opinion? Do they just have a different view?
Tell me you're still working on your trauma without telling me you're working on your trauma.
Yeah.
I mean, but honestly, that was a big thing. That was a hard one for me to get over. And that was like, that's one that it takes intentional introspection. When somebody gives you their opinion or gives you how they feel about something, and not thinking of it because when you think of everything as an attack, basically your brain is going into protective mode, and it's an instant, I've got to protect myself. And so to keep yourself from that being your default setting is incredibly difficult. And for the first few times, like I know for the first while, it was when I felt, first off, recognizing what that felt like in my body is a huge, it's a good physical reminder of, okay, I'm feeling attacked.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I am feeling. My body, my nervous system is defending itself.
Yes.
And then my brain will go, am I actually being attacked, or is this my nervous system reacting that way? And so it's hard and it's very hard going, because when you feel attacked, you stop listening.
Yes.
When you feel like you're getting attacked, you stop listening and you start preparing to defend.
Strategizing.
Right. Yeah. And it's hard to turn that off and go, okay, I'm going to listen. And are they just telling me how they feel? Because in that turn, it makes you vulnerable, and no one wants to be vulnerable. That's a moment of
choosing not to fortify and choosing not to strategize is allowing myself to be vulnerable in the moment, because if they do attack, I'm not ready to defend. And so, and that's a hard thing to allow myself to be. It's really hard to be vulnerable in that moment and approach it as anything but, and not sit there and try to fortify. That's still a struggle for me a lot of times.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Know, right? You know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Stop. No. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you've gotten better with that, and you've only gotten better with that with me. I can't speak of how you are with other people, but you've gotten better with that with me, because I will call you out on it now. I'll be like, I'm not having this. I will literally stop the conversation. I'm like, I'm not having this conversation with you if all you're going to do is defend yourself and not listen to me.
Yeah.
Because most of the time I try to be very diligent, and because I know that is how your default setting. So I will make a very concerted effort, even through my emotional state, to not be attacking. And so when you do get defensive, it is now over time understanding you're being defensive and you're not listening to me. So I'm going to let your nervous system come down so that you can get to a place.
Yeah. you're coming knocking at the door wanting to have a conversation, and I'm sitting here fortifying the house and whipping out the weapons. And you're just like, I was just knocking on the door.
I was just
So yeah,
telling you your window's broken and you need to
okay.
fix it. Like,
Well, did you break it? You broke it. I bet you broke it.
well, here's why it's broken, and here's why it's like. Okay, dude. All right.
It's not broken. It's just a little
Right. It's not broken.
smooth.
You break it. Well, here's
Not
why.
bro-
Here's why it's broken because I literally. Okay, fine. Nerdy Will says, "I wonder if that's why my ex always had to have a win." Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I broke the window myself.
Yeah.
Go away. I mean, that's also a response. These are all normal responses.
These are.
And responses I know for me, I've done. I can't speak for Sean. But yes, Nerdy Will, vulnerability is very difficult for people who have experienced trauma and experienced abuse and experienced or grew up in an environment, a hostile type of even an emotional hostile environment or neglectful environment, in the needs to justify themselves and their existence and vulnerability. Oh, I know. I mean, I'm not saying anything that nobody in this chat or this community doesn't know. And it's very difficult. Like when you feel yourself getting defensive, for me, when I feel myself getting defensive, what am I defending? Is the first question I have to ask. What am I protecting?
Yes.
And usually the answer to that is not something I want to hear or think about. And that's when I get even angrier, is because the answer is not one that's usually not the other person. There's like, I'm not saying that
It's
oh, look, that tropical storm has been extended. Shocker.
It's usually not something big like you're defending your kids, you're defending something like this big important thing that you're justified. Usually I'm defending myself from feeling a certain way.
I'm defending myself of feeling insecure.
Self-worth. Yep.
I am defending myself because I am feeling shame. I am feeling guilt. I am feeling I'm feeling something like something is a very strong
uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't want to feel that.
And it's not, it's almost never somebody who's actually attacking me. Now, there is once you get to that point, you can tell the difference between somebody who's actually blatantly attacking you versus somebody who's trying to express their emotions. But it has come after lots of intensive therapy and many sessions in this. It's usually when there's a winner and a loser type mindset. It is usually because both parties, one, have an inability to feel vulnerable because if they are afraid of getting hurt or feeling shame or whatever, and two, they that winner and loser in that aspect that's what it hinges on, the power dynamic of their relationship. That says a lot about the power dynamic of that relationship. Is there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser. And when that came to light for me, I was like,
It completely changes. Yeah.
I was like, ew. Because that's also me having to take accountability for the reason that there had to be a winner and a loser. And I was just as party to that as any other person, as the other person, because I had to take accountability for the fact that I was trying to defend my insecurities and I was defending my self-worth and my values and my need to be seen and et cetera and so forth. And it's like, it never had to do with me being right.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a tough one.
Ooh, the power of control.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whenever you go into the discussion, the argument, conflict, whatever, with I need to win, or I'm not going to lose, against the other person. Whenever the other person is your adversary, you've already lost. And so we talked about, it was funny you talk about the where do I feel it in my body. That is the exact same thing that my therapist talks about, especially when we discuss like feeling defensive. It's okay, where do you feel it? And when he first did it, I was like, well, this is silly. What do you mean, where do I feel it in my body? And I couldn't really, like, I didn't understand it at first. Like, what do you mean? And then as I started to pay attention to it, I'm like, oh, and now I may not know what I'm feeling, but I feel it in my body, and that goes, oh, I'm feeling, my body feels this way. Okay, I recognize that feeling in my body, and it means this.
I never understood why our therapists were asking us, where do you feel it in your body? I never understood. Now I get it. Is like, because anxiety in my body feels different than fear, feels different than anger, feels different than defensiveness. Like they all feel different in your body. Sadness, where yes, your nervous system absolutely feels different. And so it's just like I never understood that. And I realized what my therapist was doing. And I may be wrong, but I mean, it's helped me, is that it's a physical reminder. Here, this, your body is feeling this. So then I instantly go, I'm feeling X. Why am I feeling X? So it's a physical, I'm training my brain to recognize the physical connection to that emotion, so that then my brain can go, okay, my brain recognizes this feeling, which is connected to this emotion. So then it bridges the gap. It bridges the gap. So I'm not having to figure out, okay, what am I feeling? I'm feeling X. So it gets to the source a little quicker. It's an express highway. When you're recognizing what your nervous system and your body's doing, it's an express highway to that emotion. So you can make that brain emotion connection. I was like,
because I may think
so
I'm
smart.
feeling one thing. Yeah, right. I know. These certified professional therapists are really good at their job. It's amazing.
Stop it.
I know. But if you've never, for our community, if you've never thought about that, done that, I strongly encourage you to do that. Think about how the next time that you're experiencing, pay attention to where it is in your body. It's in your chest, it's in your hands, it's in the the bottom of your or the top of your neck, bottom of your, wherever in your body that's happening. You'll be surprised that repeats itself. It doesn't. That's very common. So,
and also be aware of the absence of that physical, because once you start healing, for me, it's the absence of that physical. Right. And I hate to cut this short. I keep getting warnings. I really have to go and grab my before it gets really bad. As much as I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this and I'm getting all of this, and I do need to go. I love you guys, but streaming is not nearly as important as getting my shit together before this nice little storm that's happening. So love you guys, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. You might see me on a rowboat. Yeah. Everybody bring their 2x2. I'll be like, instead of Noah, I have Nora, not Noah. So we're going to be all right.
2 of every.
Okay. Love you.